Ambient pads are the best way to fill in and enhance the sound of your worship band. In this video, you're going to learn about the 10 ambient pad sounds that every worship leader needs. My name is Jake Goslin with Churchfront.com, an online resource for innovative and creative church leaders. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you can receive all of our latest content to help you grow yourself and grow your church. So today I'm here with my friend Boomer Bait. He's a music producer, a filmmaker. Make sure you follow him on all his accounts, linked below in the description. And today he is going to talk to us about the 10 ambient pad sounds that every worship leader needs for their worship band. So I've been using ambient pads in my worship sets for the past few months now, and they have been absolutely transformative in the way that they're able to fill out the sound of the band. They free me up so at the end of a song I can speak or pray to the congregation without having to worry about playing my guitar at the same time, because that can kind of get a little difficult after a while, even if you're an experienced musician. They just are really, really useful, and they're also just super simple to use in any worship ministry context, because pads, you can play them on your smartphone or your tablet, you can put them in Pro Presenter, you can play them in Ableton Live like I do. There's just such a huge variety of ways that you can play back pre-recorded pads, like the ones that Boomer actually made for us. He made a free bundle of pre-recorded pads. You can download those free pads in the description of this video. But today I want Boomer to tell us about the various different pad sounds that we can use in a worship ministry context. And Boomer has been hard at work for the past couple weeks creating 10 different varieties of flavors of pads that you can use in worship. So Boomer, let's go ahead and just dive into these 10 different pad sounds that are gonna come in handy for any worship leader and any worship band.
Absolutely. So pad sound number 1, the organ. So this is a soft organ synth sound, and there's not much happening in the high frequencies because I put a low pass filter on it. You're just gonna hear a lot of mids. It's very warm, it's very soft, and this pad is really great for any acoustic kind of setting.
Yeah, I almost feel like it could work good if you were like maybe doing some like retuned hymns or something like that at your church, or maybe if you're just playing acoustic guitar and you want to kind of have that old school sound to it, but also modern at the same time.
Exactly.
And it's kind of cool because organ has been like one of the main church instruments for like forever, like hundreds of years. So
it's kind of modernizing the organ sound in a pad.
Awesome, great. What do we have next?
So pad number 2 is bells.
Let's listen to a few seconds of the bells.
So this is a very interesting pad. It's very unique. There's a lot of movement in it, and this pad is going to be in the higher register. The meat of this pad is a synth called Dusty Mirror, which has been one of my favorites that I always use. I normally use this pad in speaking points or quiet moments in a song.
Yeah, and I like how the movement in that higher register won't really conflict as much with sort of the bass notes if you're changing chords and stuff like that. All of these pads are designed so they don't conflict with your chords, and as long as you have them in the same key or in the right key of the song, it'll sound good. But this one especially, that kind of it kind of sounds like a droning bell sound. So it's not like ringing bells, but more of a droning bell. Awesome.
You're gonna hear some reverb bells like in and out of this pad. It's really cool. Pad number 3 and 4 is the airy pads. Airy low and airy high. So airy pads are always nice to have. What do I mean by airy? So airy has this little hiss to it in the higher frequencies that make a sound really cut in a mix of a full band. So I wanted to have the low pad airy pads and the higher airy pads, so both of them can cut depending on the situation of where you want them. So these pads really work well in a full band situation because of that hiss.
Yeah, and I love how I think these pads will work well in a really high energy full band situation too. And that's what's cool is like if you want to set these pads up in something like Ableton Live, you could start out with a more mellow pad, maybe the beginning of a song where it's a little more chill, but then when the chorus comes in, you could incorporate and bring in one of these airy pads in the same key, and that just really like fills out the sound and adds just a really nice element to the mix. So.
Pad number 5 is Shimmer. Let's listen to a bit of that.
It almost sounds kind of like the organ, but with more high stuff going on.
Yeah, that's actually why it's called Shimmer, because Shimmer is usually a warm kind of synth that has a brighter top of some type of bell or some type of synth going just in and out, and it has this nice like reverbed, kind of like the sun just casting rays on you. You know, it's going in and out of this beautiful synth.
Kind of makes me want to go to the beach.
Oh, absolutely. So this synth, I would say, is probably perfect for any of those acoustic sets. Pad number 6, Foundation. This is where the lows and the subs come in. So there's very little movement in these pads, just a low bass to just set the tone, set the foundation. And I did add a broken clock at the very top just to keep things interesting. But I would say you don't really want to use these kinds of synths, these bass synths in a song. I would say you use them while someone is speaking or praying. Maybe after a song or before.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like when you're watching a good movie, having that kind of low droning bass sound, kind of gives it that cinematic feel, and it kind of helps people. I think there's something instinctual when we hear sounds like this, helps people kind of hone in and focus in on the end of a sermon or a prayer. It can be really, really effective for those types of situations, so I love it.
Pad number 7, Valley. So the difference between Valley and Foundation is that I wanted to make a pad that was also low, but not so bassy. So this also does have similar features as Foundation, but it has more of a brassy tone, or kind of like a cello, just kind of, you know, the cello is a low instrument, but it's not a bass, you know, and so just picture a cello just droning on one very low note. It's a low instrument, but it's not a bass.
Yeah, I love the brassy sort of texture on top too, of like, you know, it sounds similar to like if someone were just droning on like a trumpet or French horn or something like that, but just really subtle, super tasteful.
Number 8, Ice Particles.
Ice,
baby. So we're going back to the pads that are more in the higher register, that have some movement. And if I'm being honest, this is by far my favorite that I've created.
Why? Why is it your favorite?
Because it's so unique. I promise you, you're never gonna find a pad like this. So this pad is mixed between a shimmer pad, a music box, and a toy piano.
It has like a lighter feel to it in the tones of like that little toy piano. Sounds like a more kind of like childish or maybe more playful for maybe happier moods or moments. Whereas like the other pads are like darker and like more serious.
Right,
moments.
exactly. Number 8, Full. So this pad is pretty self-explanatory. The more I was making all these pads, I thought, what if we combine a lot of these pads to get something that's super full, that incorporates the entire spectrum of frequencies, that has a bass, that has mids, and has highs.
Yeah, super beefy sound to it. Love
Very
it.
beefy.
Beefy.
Maybe we should have called it that, dang it.
Beefy.
Beefy. And finally, number 10, Movement. So this pad is a certain kind of synth called an arpeggiator or pulse. So I'll just hang on a chord and it kind of just pulses back and forth between the chord that I'm holding, regards to it has movement in this pad.
I love how it builds anticipation. I think what I'm going to do in our worship set list for Easter coming up here in a couple weeks, we're opening with a song, The Cross is the Final Word, and because I kind of want to I think it'd be a cool way to open an Easter service. Maybe it's a little less intuitive, like instead of opening super big, but actually kind of have like this cool anticipatory opening with this pad in the background, and the cross is the final word, and then just it builds up and like
so cool.
So this might be a neat
for an
one
opener
to use for stuff like that, just to build that anticipation. So that's it. Those are the 10 pad sounds that every worship band and worship leader needs. They're going to significantly enhance the sound of your worship team. Boomer, thanks so much for making these pads and sharing with us a little bit of your artistic approach behind these. I think they're just really great in achieving a different variety of pads without making them too obnoxiously unique. Because I think that sometimes like you want pads to have unique sounds, but you don't want there to be like too much stuff going on that they're distracting and they clash with the different chords that you're playing. I don't think that's the case in any of these pads. I've already taken out my guitar and played along with some of them, and I cannot wait to implement more of these in my worship ministry context. So you may be wondering, how can I implement these worship pads in my ministry context? Well, the good news is Boomer and I are super excited to announce that today when we publish this YouTube video, and even further in the future, we've made these pads available to you. These 10 pads that we just worked through in this video, you can download and implement in your worship ministry. So click the link below in the description of this video where you'll learn all about how you can purchase the pads, how you can download the pads, and you'll be up and running with them in your worship band in no time. And of course, if you're wondering how you can run these pads in worship, check out the other videos on my YouTube channel where I give you a tutorial of how to run them on your phone or in Pro Presenter or in Ableton Live. They're so easy to get up and running in your worship band. Boomer, thanks again for your hard work in making these pads. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found this content helpful, hit that thumbs up button, leave some love below in the comments, leave some love for Boomer below in the comments. He really needs it. And don't forget to subscribe to the Churchfront channel so you can continue to receive all of our latest content to help you grow yourself and grow your church.